Jason, have you ever witnessed the one? Yeah.
I did it with Pete James.
I saw you last, you told me about it. It's on the website. So. Maybe I want to.
Okay. Do we have a mouse? Hi, everyone. How are you guys?
Good morning.
All right, I'm still toggling, and we are recording, by the way. So this is totally jacked up. All right, are we ready? Craig, there's no mouse.
No, you can just use the up down on that.
Up, down,
Yeah, you got
right here.
that thing.
Well, it advances it.
Should.
No.
Okay.
All right. We are getting this thing going. So welcome everyone to the Northeast Tarrant County 1 million Cubs. Woo-hoo! So excited to be here in person and to have you guys in virtual world. So if this is your first time, welcome. We are so glad to have you here. Our mission at 1 Million Cups is to help aspiring or current entrepreneurs succeed in their endeavors. Oopsie. Okay, sorry guys, this is a little bit of a challenge for me. Okay, exceed in their endeavors by establishing a supportive space where they can test, tweak, or simply validate their ideas while connecting them to similarly diverse audiences and members of the community to ensure that any entrepreneur or wantrepreneur has at least one clearly defined path to accessing their education and resources within the community. How does 1 Million Cups work? So typically there is 1 to 2 presenter or presentations, and they are not here to sell. However, they are here to, they are not here to sell or ask for investments or technically gain exposure for their business. Rather, get connected to the community so that they can pour into them. 1MC presenters are here to share their business journey, their milestones, and most importantly, their obstacles and barriers to success. Each presenter, they have 6 minutes to talk about their business, and it is then followed by 20 minutes of Q&A for feedback, questions, and advice from the community. Sometimes we may have an educational presentation where you will see that being flipped. There's 20 minutes of content and 6 minutes of community Q&A. Just depends on what we have happening that day. Because again, ultimately the goal is to connect local entrepreneurs and community members to the resources that are available. We also have community updates because we want to know what is happening in your world so that we can support and be a part of that. We want to say thank you to our sponsors. Currently, we have the NRH Library, of which we are currently here today. So thank you so much. Cultural Consultants and Inclusive Leadership Institute. And I don't see our coffee sponsor on here, which is NRH Economic Development. They are providing our coffee currently. So we want to say thank you so much to our sponsors for helping us be able to do what it is that we do. We have an amazing group of organizers that we work with. I am Darlisa Diltz. I'm with the North Texas Entrepreneur Training Center. We do have Mr. Craig Hulse from the city of North Richland Hills You see his arm? That is Craig. We have Shay Jackson, who is not here with us this morning. We were just informed that we will have a new member from the city of Colleyville, but Dakari was historically our member from the city of Colleyville. We will make introductions to our new member soon. We have Camille Corner. Say hey, Camille. We have Mr. Hank Johnson from TCC Northeast. We have Elizabeth Copeland, also from the city of North Richland Hills. We have Mr. Jack Bradshaw from the Northeast Tarrant County Chamber of Commerce. And we have Michon Landry, Inclusive Leadership Institute. So yay. Thank you to all of our organizers who helped us get this going. All right, so now we have who is in the room. Always excited for this portion so that we can meet and see who the new faces of our 1MC community are. So give me a second. I'm going to giving you guys a teaser. I'm going to expand my view a little bit. We do have a couple of new faces I know in person. So if our in-person guests would like to introduce themselves, and I'm looking online. All right, so it looks like.
Yeah, all right, thank you. My name is Jason Moore. I actually started working in North Richland Hill back in 2007. And that was my first project right here in this park, Sorby Plaza. So that was my first rural capital project. Then I moved to Richland Hills and then to Louisville. I was director of economic development there for the last 3 years. And I've recently joined the private sector and I've started my real estate school yesterday. So helping some developers. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yes.
Welcome back, Jason.
Welcome back, Jason, and welcome back or welcome to the private sector world. Welcome back to North Richland Hills. And of course, welcome to Northeast Tarrant County 1 Million Cups. We're going to have Jason present soon. Just telling you that in advance. All right. So we have 2 other newbies in the room. You guys want to introduce yourself?
I'll do it. I'm Laura Jenkins, and I've looked at you guys online a couple of times. I have a company called Diffusion, Mobile Detailing, and I've been involved with a couple of other groups, and I can tell you it's really a resource to me. And I'm here to learn more about this group, and hopefully down the road I can. So, I want to learn more about what's going on before I put my toe out there. Okay.
Well, it's good to see your face in person. We've seen you on the calls.
Yeah, so welcome again. Tell us your name again.
Laura Jenkins, DFW Mobile Detailing. I'm here to pump my business a little bit, and I tell you what our customers say we're the best. So you can put this to the test anytime.
All right, you guys heard it. So Laura, she's doing mobile detail and car washing. So she's going to be presenting here soon. So if you guys are not here in person, you don't get to see her lovely face. However, we do, so we're excited. So we have our coffee. Yeah. So 1 million cups. Let me see your coffee cups. If you're drinking coffee, let's see your coffee. Let's see your coffee. Woo! All right, we are officially, we're kind of like Miller 1 million, but that's okay. But we got our coffee, so it's all good. All right, so I will not hold us any longer. I am going to turn it over to my really tall friend and organizer, Mr. Craig Hulse, who is going to lead us through the next portion of our morning. Welcome, Craig. He's going to have to adjust the screen because he's really tall.
I know you guys are getting tired of hearing from me, but I'm just full of great ideas and great content. So also you're hearing from me because we don't have an actual speaker for today. So I've inserted something that's inspired me. Remember this comment here, and this is very important for all of us on the call because we are salespeople. Whether we like it or not, we're marketers. people don't buy what you do. They really buy why you do what you do. Okay. And the typical view that a lot of people have when they start their business, when they go into business, is they look at what they do and they basically communicate what they do. They may go into a little bit of detail on how they go about it, but they never focus, and they never, in many cases, understand why it is they do it. And when people understand why it is they do what you do, or you do what you do, it transcends your business. So the conventional way is outside in, what, how, and then maybe you think about the why. The remarkable way of going about your business is figuring out your why first, then going about how you do it and what you do. In 2009, or actually, I would say for me, about 5 years ago, I watched a TED Talk, and I'll get into that in a minute, of a psychologist named Simon Sinek. He wrote a book called Start With Why. And within it, there's a few different concepts that he goes in with this book, but I'm going to save you the time and the cost of buying this book. And we're going to cut to the chase in the next few minutes. But essentially, he calls this the golden circle, which is establish why you do what you do, then go about how you do it and with what. And the best example that I wanted to share with you is Dr. King wasn't who he was because he had a plan. He didn't go about combating civil rights and justice by saying, hey, everybody, I have a plan. Rather, he approached it by, I have a dream. And Simon Sinek will go into that in a little bit. The reason why this is so inspiring and why I thought this would be a great message to share with everybody and for everybody to discuss during this particular hour is his TED Talk has some flaws. The audio actually stinks. He had to get a mic replacement. The video footage is subpar, but the message is so inspiring, compelling. It's the most watched TED Talk in the history of TED Talks with over almost 56 million views. So without further ado, I'm going to do some technical things to bring up his video. We're going to watch it. It's a 15-minute video. And then after that, we're going to talk about your why and how to get to your why. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Thought it was here. Hold on.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight? The Wright brothers beat them to it. There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery. And this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way. And it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't need to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done. That's how most sales is done. And that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do. We say how we're different or how we're better. And we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains. And our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and the figures and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal and want to be a part of what it is that you do? Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe. The goal is not just to hire people who need a job. It's to hire people who believe what you believe. I always say that, you know, if you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they work for you with blood and sweat and tears. And nowhere else is there a better example of this than with the Wright brothers. Most people don't know about Samuel Pierpont Langley. And back in the early 20th century, the pursuit of powered man flight was like the .com of the day. Everybody was trying it. And Samuel Pierpont Langley had what we assume to be the recipe for success. I mean, even now we ask people, why did your product or why did your company fail? And people always give you the same permutation of the same three things. Undercapitalized, the wrong people, bad market conditions. It's always the same three things. So let's explore that. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine. Money was no problem. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian and was extremely well connected. He knew all the big minds of the day. He hired the best minds money could find, and the market conditions were fantastic. The New York Times followed him around everywhere, and everyone was rooting for Langley. And how come we've never heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley? A few hundred miles away in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had none of what we consider to be the recipe for success. They had no money. They paid for their dream with the proceeds from their bicycle shop. Not a single person on the Wright brothers team had a college education, not even Orville or Wilbur. And the New York Times followed them around nowhere. The difference was Orville and Wilbur were driven by a cause, by a purpose, by a belief. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it'll change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He wanted to be rich and he wanted to be famous. He was in pursuit of the result. He was in pursuit of the riches. And lo and behold, look what happened. The people who believed in the Wright brothers' dream worked with them with blood and sweat and tears. The others just worked for the paycheck. And they tell stories of how every time the Wright brothers went out, they would have to take 5 sets of parts because that's how many times they would crash before they came in for supper. And eventually on December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers took flight. And no one was there to even experience it. We found out about it a few days later. And further proof that Langley was motivated by the wrong thing, the day the Wright brothers took flight, he quit. He could have said, that's an amazing discovery, guys, and I will improve upon your technology. But he didn't. He wasn't first. He didn't get rich. He didn't get famous. So he quit. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if you talk about what you believe, you will attract those who believe what you believe. Well, why is it important to attract those who believe what you believe? Something called the law of diffusion of innovation. And if you don't know the law, you definitely know the terminology. The first 2.5% of our population are our innovators. The next 13.5% of our population are our early adopters. The next 34% are your early majority, your late majority, and your laggards. The only reason these people buy touch-tone phones is because you can't buy rotary phones anymore. We all sit at various places at various times on the scale, but what the law of diffusion of innovation tells us is that if you want mass market success or mass market acceptance of an idea, you cannot have it until you achieve this tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration, and then the system tips. And I love asking businesses, what's your conversion on new business? And they love to say, oh, it's about 10% proudly. Well, you can trip over 10% of the customers. We all have about 10% who just get it. That's how we describe them, right? That's like that gut feeling. Oh, they just get it. The problem is, how do you find the ones that just get it before you're doing business with them versus the ones who don't get it? So it's this here, this little gap that you have to close, as Jeffrey Moore calls it, crossing the chasm. Because you see, the early majority will not try something until someone else has tried it first. And these guys, the innovators and the early adopters, they're comfortable making those gut decisions. They're more comfortable making those intuitive decisions that are driven by what they believe about the world and not just what product is available. These are the people who stood online for 6 hours to buy an iPhone when they first came out, when you could have just walked into the store the next week and bought one off the shelf. These are the people who spent $40,000 on flat screen TVs when they first came out, even though the technology was substandard. And by the way, they didn't do it because the technology was so great. They did it for themselves. It's because they wanted to be first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. In fact, people will do the things that prove what they believe. The reason that person bought the iPhone in the first 6 hours, or stood in line for 6 hours, was because of what they believed about the world and how they wanted everybody to see them. They were first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So let me give you a famous example, a famous failure and a famous success of the law of diffusion of innovation. First, a famous failure. It's a commercial example. As we said before a second ago, the recipe for success is money and the right people and the right marketing conditions, right? You should have success then. Look at TiVo. From the time TiVo came out about 8 or 9 years ago to this current day, they are the single highest quality product on the market. Hands down, there is no dispute. They are extremely well funded. Market conditions were fantastic. I mean, we use TiVo as a verb. I TiVo stuff on my piece of junk Time Warner DVR all the time. But TiVo's commercial failure. They've never made money. And when they went IPO, their stock was at about $30 or $40 and then plummeted, and it's never traded above 10. In fact, I don't think it's even traded above 6, except for a couple of little spikes. Because you see, when TiVo launched their product, they told us all what they had. They said, we have a product that pauses live TV, skips commercials, rewinds live TV, and memorizes your viewing habits without you even asking. And the cynical majority said, we don't believe you. We don't need it. We don't like it. You're scaring us. What if they had said, if you're the kind of person who likes to have total control over every aspect of your life, boy, do we have a product for you. It pauses live TV, skips commercials, memorizes your viewing habits, et cetera, et cetera. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply serves as the proof of what you believe. Now let me give you a successful example of the law of diffusion of innovation. In the summer of 1963, 250,000 people showed up on the Mall in Washington to hear Dr. King speak. They sent out no invitations, and there was no website to check the date. How do you do that? Well, Dr. King wasn't the only man in America who was a great orator. He wasn't the only man in America who suffered in a pre-civil rights America. In fact, some of his ideas were bad, but he had a gift. He didn't go around telling people what needed to change in America. He went around and told people what he believed. I believe, I believe, I believe, he told people. And people who believed what he believed took his cause and they made it their own, and they told people. And some of those people created structures to get the word out to even more people. And lo and behold, 250,000 people showed up on the right day, on the right time to hear him speak. How many of them showed up for him? Zero. They showed up for themselves. It's what they believed about America that got them to travel on a bus for 8 hours to stand in the sun in Washington in the middle of August. It's what they believed. And it wasn't about black versus white. 25% of the audience was white. Dr. King believed that there are two types of laws in this world, those that are made by a higher authority and those that are made by man. And not until all the laws that are made by man are consistent with the laws that are made by the higher authority will we live in a just world. It just so happens that the civil rights movement was the perfect thing to help him bring his cause to life. We followed not for him, but for ourselves. And by the way, he gave the I have a dream speech, not the I have a plan speech. Listen to politicians now with their comprehensive 12-point plans. They're not inspiring anybody. Because there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. Whether they're individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead, not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead, not for them, but for ourselves. And it's those who start with why that have the ability to inspire those around them or find others who inspire them. Thank you very much.
If you only lost your vacation home on Airbnb, you might have.
Pretty cool, huh? So glad to see everybody's faces on the screen and everybody in the room. I'm going to go back to the presentation and going to open up the floor. Elizabeth will toggle between the microphone in here and as well as people who want to speak on the Zoom call. But just to follow up, I want to go over Apple's why, and then cover another topic. But recall, Apple's what is just they make good computers. Okay, this was done in 2009. That's why I was mentioning TiVo and MP3s. Those have all gone by the wayside, but this message still holds true for Apple. It's true. I mean, in their messaging and everything they do, they always try and be different, challenging, conventional. They're always on the forefront. Siri, was a recent one. They think differently, and they do that by focusing on beautifully designed products and whatnot. The third thing that most businesses focus on is what they actually do. They miss the point when they don't understand the why or their why. And so that's where you have to believe. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. And so the opportunity here is, and I don't expect you to have it today. And in fact, Elizabeth and I enjoy this. We'll meet with you on the side and talk about that process if you want to try and discover your why. We did it for our department. It took a couple weeks. And quite honestly, I need to be reminded of it constantly. And I was reminded of it this week by Elizabeth. When we did it a couple years ago, if someone were to ask me, well, what do you do? I'd say, oh, yeah, we do site feasibility analysis, competitive demand analysis, financial analysis, political feasibility, pre-development assistance. Okay, cool. I would probably put that person to sleep, even though to me, I think that's sexy and appealing and compelling. How I do it, I'll facilitate development and business expansion through a wide range of tools. I know Jason's in his previous role at Louisville, same thing. But really, why is it that Elizabeth and my department exists? Why is it? We are a dedicated resource to the private sector, to the business community that matches their success with city goals. That's really our why. It's not as sexy as apples, but that's why we exist. And so the opportunity here is to open up the floor in the room and also virtually to talk about your why, or talk out loud why how you get to your why, or what you think it is to get to your why. Angie, I have some printouts to your right. If you want to pass that out to everybody in the room, this is just a blank slate that you can take with you, or you can fill out right now. But essentially, the point here is with this exercise, David, I'll pick on you. You're really good at talking about what you do. You're very good at it. You're also very good about the process and how. Everybody that you've done business with, David, is a testimonial, sings your praises and everything like that. However, have you ever explored why? And okay.
Those down to, well, circumstances had a role in doing that, but before I started business, my why basically is to be a catalyst of effective change in somebody else's life for their betterment, as well as for myself. That I consider that would be my why. The whole thing, if I can help somebody get what they need, whether it's individually or even if it's in a business sense. Also, to give you a little story behind my logo. Everybody's got some issues. Doesn't matter who you are. Whether you, okay. The story behind my logo, if you've ever seen my logo, is everybody's got issues. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. You got issues. If you're a business owner, then your issues are compounded. So if I can live in a metro area, so I want to be a light to them, to the business owner primarily, or even if it's individually, and provide them either with one solution or multiple solutions. Without going any further, I'll turn it back over to you. And then if you guys have any comments, it's fine.
Okay. One more question for David. You talked about helping people
Right.
grow their business, right?
Right.
That's kind of your why. Again, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No. I'm enjoying this.
Is that on your website?
Not yet. But it
Okay.
will be. I can put it on that. I can have the website is in development now, so it's not.
Do you believe that now you feel like you should proselytize that a bit more?
I think so. I think, because people, I sell product or products, but the whole thing is, if I were to go on what you were saying, but see, let me back up a little bit. Everybody's got I want to pursue branding. Everybody's got a personal brand. And even if they go for, when I talk about branding, I'm talking about personal branding, but also business branding. When you go for a job, your personal brand is what you project out to the public. Business branding, if the logo itself is the base of your business, how would they perceive your business? How would they perceive the business?
Well, you had me at hello. I guess the point is your why is helping businesses grow.
Right.
That's it. And then if you got their attention, then you can dive into some of the details. I'm going to put Camille on the spot now. Camille, what is your why with our life?
Well, my why with our life is to help connect the community on the west side and the east side of hometown, but also help serve the community and the businesses in the community by connecting them with their ideal target market. I love serving the community that I live in, and I love helping businesses grow and help refer them to their appropriate referral partners.
I think it could be, in my opinion, I think it could be distilled down to something smaller.
Okay.
Like you see a void and you want to foster community.
Okay.
Your publication drives home a sense of community that was lacking in the air. That's my thought.
No, that's perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah. And anyway, Darlis, I'll hand it over to you for other questions. Sorry.
Awesome. Well, let's give Craig a round of applause. And what do you guys, I value that presentation because, I believe in that as well. A lot of the participants that have come through our programs or even any of our clients, they should be able to say like, that is what we lead in with. Sorry, I'm reading. Okay. So I definitely agree with that. So let's open up the table. This takes us to our, we're going to have like an open forum of you guys kind of talking about your why. And that can be a whole bunch of things, why you started your company, why you're here on 1 Million Cups week after week, why you do what you do in the community. So Mary, you had some interesting commentary in the chat. You want to come off mute and share with us your why?
Well, my why, I put it in a form of a hashtag. So my hashtag is seeing beauty in the mirror. And so for me, I totally believe people live, work, and everything differently, like when they can look in the mirror and like what they see. If that is because they have clear skin, if that is because what they learned how to wear makeup, if that is because whatever. I remember the stage of my life where I did not like what I saw in the mirror because it was overweight and high acne. And so for me, that is one of the driving forces behind why I function the way I do. So if it's an athlete coming off the field and he's breaking out underneath his helmet, or if it's a young lady that just needs direction, that's my driving force. I love this Simon Sinek. I've had the opportunity to work through this multiple times. And so it's like, yes, why? Hit your why. And it drives things and it helps you make your decisions so much easier.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Mary. You're absolutely right. And thank you for being transparent and sharing with us, why you decided to do what you do. Who else? How about you, Jason? Would you like to share your why with us?
Sure, yeah. So for me, I don't like that the big companies kind of monopolize like what people do. And I see software and automation as an enabler for businesses that don't really get an opportunity to really streamline their efforts. So I get the core of my why is just I think we as people waste a lot of time doing things that are not really that mentally engaging, and trying to find ways to where we spend more of our time engaged in what we do versus just doing the routine and staying busy. So I guess that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm going to call on Amy if she is available. Amy, are you there, Amy?
I am.
So I am calling on you because you are in the community like so much. You have businesses, you work in the entrepreneur sector. So you want to share with us your why?
Yeah, I mean, my why BBB is a nonprofit, and that's been my entire career. I've been a nonprofit 20 years, and that is because my passion is to help people, and help them overcome whatever obstacles they have. And so doing that for businesses is absolutely a joy, and it's so rewarding to be able to sit down with a business owner and have a conversation about, what is their why, obviously, and how they can remove whatever's in their way to achieve success. And I'm truly passionate about it. I enjoy it, and seeing, staying in touch, seeing successes are, it's absolutely worth it in every way. For my personal business, my why, my husband and I own a craft business, and it's bringing joy to others and providing excellent service and going above and beyond. And so for me, it's just, how can I be a resource for others?
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Jack, you want to share with us your why?
Want to take my sound off or just talk loud?
Just talk loud.
Okay. Well, I love the video and the why. First time I saw that, I was blown away, and I can see why it's the most popular talk on TED. And one of the things that I was working at the time, I was working over in Dallas when I saw it, and it made me think about also not just my professional why, but also my personal why. And why do you get up in the morning? Why do you go to work? Why do you work hard? All those things. And I had 3 young children, at the time when this came out, and that's part of it. You look over and you're like, I do it for my family, is part of it. When I think about the chamber, and I think about I get to meet all these wonderful people every day and talk to them, and my life is enriched by it. You think about that, and sometimes when you get up in the morning, it's good you're in the shower and think about your why today. Why do I do what I do? And if you don't really have a good answer for that, maybe it's time to do something different, because you should have a good answer for that. And so I think that I think about your personal why too, because that helps you to maybe have a little more spring in your step in the morning and get going and enjoy your day more, because you are focusing on your why, not just what you got to go do today.
Thank you. That is excellent, right? That is a great point. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jack. How about you? You want to tell us your name and tell us a why? Share with us. You got to talk loud so they can hear you.
Cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Drake. I recently moved here about a week ago from Atlanta. So,
Hot off the press.
I saw. I was interested that I just so happened to have a library across the street from where I moved to, and when I looked into it, I found the 1 Million Cups organization, and I looked a little bit deeper into it and was intrigued, to say the least, by everything that was going on. So here I am, and I guess to state why I do what I do. I'm actually from California, and as everybody in this room knows, California is a very expensive place to live. And even though on TV people broadcast this idea of, oh, it's the beach and it's so much fun and things like that, sadly, the community that I grew up in was nothing like what we see on TV. I grew up around people that were making decisions that weren't the best for their future. I have a lot of friends now that sadly are either incarcerated or sadly aren't here to tell their stories with me anymore. And one of the main reasons why I feel like a lot of people make some of the decisions that they make in life is all for this idea of capitalism and being able to make as much money as they can. And sadly, when you come from an environment that I'm from, people result in doing terrible things in order for that same pursuit that people like maybe Apple or even Microsoft may have, And so one of the main reasons why I started doing what I do is simply to give people other ideas on how they can be able to create capital and gain assets and generational wealth and financial freedom So that way people don't have to resort to some of the, terrible, things that people do to make money, or the menial jobs that people have to resort to in order to make money. And that's why I actually created a financial education platform that teaches people how, number one, how to budget their money, how to invest their money, teaches them more about the future of money. So we teach people about cryptocurrency and things along those lines. And yeah, I'm kind of here because I want to be able to connect with people in other industries that can, I truly feel as though, people are more powerful than we give each other credit for. And I feel like every single person, especially in this room or that's on this Zoom call here, every single one of us has a strength. And I feel like this world would be such a better place if everybody can simply take their strengths and put them all into one place. And I feel like that's a part of what you guys are doing here at the 1 Million Cups organization. And hopefully me and my girlfriend, hopefully you guys will get to meet her soon. Hopefully, we can find a way to make this world a better place if we can just all continue to put our efforts together here in this organization. So yeah. Thank you, Greg.
We got Juicy Drake on the MIC. We're going to go ahead and drop it. And welcome, by the way, Drake. So look at us all, being in the community and stuff. Check that out. All right. So, how do you come back from that? Like, that was awesome. I do have one other person I want to kind of allow. So I see that there is a telephone number on there, and we want to give you the floor to share your why with us. Introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and share your why. I'm calling you out. Are you able to hear us? 214-729-4381. Can you unmute? You're on the phone, so I don't know if she can unmute. Maybe not. All right, well, we got you next time. All right. It's all good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep this party rolling. So this document right here, if you are interested in receiving it, let us know. We can email that document to you. If you want to kind of just write that kind of stuff out, I'm a strong proponent of, doing the brain dump, and Craig has graciously provided us with that. So if you are interested in receiving that, let us know in the chat, and we will get you a copy of that for your, I don't know, why planning pleasures? I don't know. So without further ado, we are going to kick it over to, well, first of all, thank you guys for participating and for sharing your why with us, and, being here and being intentional about, why you come to 1MC Northeast Tarrant County. So we are going to kick it over to Mr. Jack Bradshaw, who will share with us some community announcements. If you have some, go ahead and drop them in the chat as well, so he can make announcements about that for you. So, Jack.
All right, thank you, Darlisa. I want to just start by saying that we have a big program a week from this Thursday at the Northeast Tarrant Chamber. Our luncheon is going to be featuring our partner city managers, and they're going to be talking about the challenges over the last 18 months, the unique challenges that you face when you're running in the city through a pandemic and Ice-Mageddon and all the other challenges that you have to do, and kind of trying to budget through that period of time, and then kind of what their vision, moving forward, what is happening in the cities. And we live in a very, we are, in Northeast Tarrant County, we're very blessed to have a lot of collaborative leaders and very nice, diverse and prosperous areas. So we've come back maybe a little bit quicker than some other areas have, but it's always great to hear from our city managers of what's going on with them. And if you've never been to one of our luncheons before and would like to come and be a guest, we would love to have you. So that is happening a week from this Thursday. I put the link in the chat. Darlene said, did you want to talk about the Women's Entrepreneur Leadership Forum?
Sure. So with this North Texas Entrepreneur Training Center, We have applications open currently for the Women Entrepreneurs Leadership Forum, as well as the B1 Bank Entrepreneur Training Program. The Women's Entrepreneur Leadership Forum, that is in partnership with TWU Center for Women Entrepreneurs. So we are looking for ladies to be a part of that if you are interested, as well as the B1 Bank Entrepreneurship Training Program. All individuals that complete that program will receive a $1,000 grant from B1 Bank. That is a non-repayable amount of funding that you will receive. And all you have to do is have been in business at least 1 year. There is no revenue minimum or maximum or anything for that. You just have to complete the program. So if you are interested and want information, visit the website. The website is there, but applications are open.
Okay, thank you. And then, we've got Eva on the line. Of course, we've got Angie with us, and you guys really run the Toastmasters every Monday over at the Chamber from 12 to 1. And I see you guys in there. I haven't been able to participate as much lately, but things are going good. And what's happening with Toastmasters?
You wanted Eva? I'll go. So Toastmasters is in person and virtual on Mondays at the Chamber office from 12 to 1, and we're pretty strict on the timing because we know everybody has other things to do. But it is an amazing resource for learning how to do your 30-second commercial and to help with any kind of public speaking that you do. There's people that get speeches each week and people that evaluate them, and then everyone, if they wish, has an opportunity to speak on table topics. So we all get a little practice on meeting others and working on our public speaking. So join us for Toastmasters. It is, I think everybody that's in the room at Toastmasters has changed their life in many ways.
There it is. I was going to ask you, what's the why of Toastmasters? And you did.
There you go.
Change your life. Eva, anything to add to that?
No, Jack, I think Angie covered it really well. Thank you.
All right. And Tracy,
Every Wednesday, right before this, from 8 to 9 a.m., you guys have Synergy NETC. And give us the why on Synergy NETC.
Well, our why is to help build each other's businesses up. You help others first, and then it will come around to help you out. And then each month we do a focus on nonprofits because nonprofits need the most help. We feel like that they can to help them grow and help them succeed and see how we can help them out.
All right. Thanks, Tracy. And we have got Amy, you have got an event also on August 19th. You've got
on how to be a great networker.
Yeah, it's at noon on the 19th. You can register through the link I put in the chat. And it's Morgan Heinrich. And if anybody's seen her do this presentation, she is amazing, dynamic, and has a lot of great tips to share. She's, I would have to say, the best networker I've ever encountered, and that's amazing because there's a lot, but she does a great job of follow-up. And then we also have our weekly networking group that is every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and the link is also in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll just conclude by saying we always have our network success group every Tuesday at Olive Garden in North Richland Hills, and it's a great group. And everybody there is there for the right why. They're in it to help others succeed, and that's what we're all about. How do we as a community, that's why we're here today, how do we help everybody succeed and the entire community really prosper? So you can join us every Tuesday at Olive Garden until 11:30. That is all I have there. Lisa, thank you.
Awesome. So thank you guys so much. I'm trying to get back to this slideshow here. See me? Oh, I turned the. All right. So we would love to have you as a presenter. So if you are interested in presenting with 1 Million Cups, can I see that on the screen? Is on the screen? Perfect. If you are interested in being a presenter for us, please reach out, apply, connect. And if you presented previously and it has been 6 months, you can come back for a refresh. So keep that in mind as well. We'd like to know kind of where you've been and how's it been going for you. So if you have presented and it's been 6 months, come back for our refresh, or we'd like to get you to be a presenter. We identified several potential presenters today. So I'm excited about that. And you can go to the 1millioncups.com/any Tarrant County to get information about that. All right, so we are officially hybrid. We meet here every Wednesday morning at 9:00 a.m. at the North Richland Hills Library. The address is there. For those that are not comfortable with being in person, we still have the hybrid, which our virtual world is there currently. So 2 ways to connect with us. We are also streaming live on Facebook. So if you are a Facebook follower, be sure to share the live so that our community can see the awesomeness that we are doing here every week. And of course, follow us, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you take pictures, if you're in person or if you are online and you just so happen to capture a picture, share it. We want other people to know what we have going on here in our awesome community. Before I close out, Mary, I see your hand raised. Did you have?
I got in late to say about the Dynamic Women's Alliance for the Northeast Tarrant Chamber. We are going to a virtual lunch with back to school, and all in all, we decided that it might be better service to the women of the world if we did a virtual lunch. So we are doing a virtual meeting Wednesday, the 25th. And we'd love all women on this and any others to join us as we work together to help us be better at what we do so we can continue to better the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate that information. You put that in the chat. I'm not able to see the chat right now. Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, this concludes yet another week of 1 Million Cups. Let's give ourselves a hand. Give you a hand. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And we will see you guys next week. Same time, same location. You guys have a great rest of your week.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
It's like Before hands out,